Welcome back, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Guten Morgen. Are you in Munich? Wie geht's, Jack? Oh, you're not? Ah, that is unfortunate. You know, 2 words? Good morning. That's 2 words, man. Back yourself. That's like nearly half the entire language there. Some would say you're fluent. Yeah, we're only speaking Deutsch now. Haben Sie heute ein Trade genommen? Naturwissenschaften? We have some interesting. Isn't that science? Ein Trade genommen. Ah, yes. Einen Trade. Yeah, I'm really bad at the ASDS. Yeah, welcome back, guys. We're 7 people out of eight people out of 20 before we get started here. Today's gonna be a relatively quick one. I don't think. Yeah, price action is showing us that we're pretty good. Oh, Johnny, you know Japanese as well. My guy. This is a multilingual. We're going to be speaking a different language on every day of the stream. Can't wait for Arabic Thursdays. Just a bit. Yeah, I'm currently on Duolingo trying to learn Japanese, and there's this one guy who keeps taking my rank 1 spot. I'm in the Sapphire League. Absolute dickhead. I'm like today's Tuesday, right? Right, today's Tuesday. Man is on. Well, yesterday night I was up like 1,900 XP or whatever. This morning, motherfucker gets up to 3,000 XP. Do you know how hard I'm gonna have to grind? Nah, brother. I'm gonna have none of that. Today I'm trying something new. I'm not playing music on the YouTube, but instead we're gonna be trying the Spotify to see if it helps with the lag. Because previously, the main issue is I've been getting some lag doing the analysis sometimes. Yeah, man, I started like not too long ago. I think my streak is like 16 days only. It's not that long. But yeah, trying to just get back in. I did it a little bit like back in like 2-3 years ago, and I kind of just dropped it for a while. But I kind of want to take it slightly more seriously and finish the entire course at least. We will see. But yes, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, the first section I think is like, because I know Japanese to some degree, so I kind of skipped a lot of the first section. I just like jumped the sections. But if I'm going for XP, oh, I'm gonna be exploiting some loopholes. But we'll see. Let's see if I need to actually use that secret insider knowledge, right? Oh, you know what I haven't done in a while? Copy this code, send it to the signals chat and education chat. Let us see. Let's see if that does anything. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like it's just a lot of memorizing of words, and you just have to use it often enough that you just continue to like remember it. But yeah. Yo, welcome back, everyone. Yeah, starting soon. Give or take 5 minutes here. Swedish is one of these. Is Swedish it's like, how different is it from German? Because I've done like 7 years of German. Oh, 2 years in Sweden. But yeah, like that's the thing, right? You know the kind of like German or like more Nordic sort of language types, I guess. Oh, close. Okay. But like, when are you actually gonna need Swedish besides in Sweden? And it's not like I go Sweden a lot of times, right? English is one of the hardest languages, and we've managed that. I feel like English is. I mean, you guys have never even tried learning Chinese, man, brother. You'll die learning Chinese. Yeah, just like. Yeah, Jack, we're just waiting for people to show up. You just kind of have to make a decision by yourself and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna learn. And like, I don't know how anybody would start learning Chinese. It's so complex. It's like a completely alien language if you don't know. It's like, to be fair, like if you learn Japanese, it does kind of help. I would say actually, if you've learned Chinese and you know Chinese, it helps with Japanese. But if you know Japanese, it doesn't really help with learning Chinese. Not too much. It's like reading a hard drive with your eyes. What is that analogy? W analysis, Jack. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's just random characters sometimes, and it's like, well, you have to do so much memorization. Like even I don't know a lot of Chinese characters. But for me to like actually use them on a daily basis is even harder, I feel. Yeah, it's just symbols, right? Like each word is just a different symbol, and like you have to, because like writing the alphabet, there's only 26 characters, right? And it's like, yeah, you can repeat the A multiple times, like you have vowels, whatever. None of that in Chinese. Like even in Japanese, you have like an alphabet, even though you kind of have like two alphabets, and then you have Chinese. um, I'm I'm based in the UK, so I live in London. So for anybody who's coming to London, I'll see you guys in the meet and greet. If not at the in person as well, if I can make it. But I'm actually from Hong Kong. Cool. Let's have a look. Daily closed interesting. I thought we were gonna push up all the way. We tapped resistance though. So we'll see. Was English not? I think English was kind of like. I don't really have like I would say English is probably my first language, to be fair. Like it's probably my best language, and then I still have like Chinese and Cantonese. Both are like pretty equal with English, to be fair. And then I did like 7 years of German, and then I also am doing Japanese, which I would say my Japanese is slightly better than my German, sadly, because I stopped German at like what 15. No, I don't think you have to. You just have to be forced at a very young age, Jack, to learn things. Like, yeah, Asian culture, mate. Oh, we've hit 20. All right. Fantastic, guys. Welcome back, everyone. It is a Tuesday. We're back with another analysis. Let us start with the monthly because we have 1 day left. Monthly is actually, retracing a little bit, right? So we've come down. We had a bottom wick, I think, for last Thursday or something. What was the day we had that? This was Wednesday, Thursday sort of time. We came down, we created a steeper bottom wick. Was it a steeper bottom wick? Yeah, steeper bottom wick, right? We broke the lows, and now we're kind of, rejecting. So if you kind of look at the overall price structure, right? Just based off of the monthly candle, what can you say? You can say that price came down as, so potentially price came up first for that top wick for the beginning of the month. Then you started coming down, you started ranging, right? Potentially broke some highs, came down, and then now you've broken the lows again. So if you were to drive and you re-break this low, we have pretty clean traffic to come down towards 1990, right? That's the bottom of the range. But at the same time, the break of these lows could be liquidity for us to start heading back up, right? Towards that towards that monthly flip area, and then eventually we can maybe take price above 2073, 2070 sorts of areas, and then retesting all-time highs. So that's the overall goal, I would say, because monthly is very bullish, seeing that November and December closed very, very bullish above the range with some pretty nice wicks to fill. The only issue was you have a level going across around 2070, and you haven't broken that level yet, right? Your weekly hasn't, your monthly hasn't, right? And obviously, I think on your daily, you may have had some like liquidity around these areas, but you haven't really on the higher time frames closed above. So for that to happen, right, you're going to need liquidity, and that break the lows could maybe be liquidity, even though I'm not specifically expecting that little push there to be the liquidity we have to drive all the way back up. I'm expecting that price still being in this range. If you are rejecting, there's a high chance you're going to tap the top of the range, which is around 2070, right? So let's jump down to the weekly. Weekly is interesting, right? We've had 2 trading days and we still have no bottom wick, even though, right, we may not be expecting a bottom wick for this week. Why? Because we closed right at a resistance. If we've closed right at a resistance, next thing that price is going to do is probably come up to fill the range. And the next range going up probably takes you to around here, 2045, maybe approximately here at around 2050 sorts of areas. So if that is your top of the range, I would say today probably filled it, right? You tapped into around 2048, that sort of area. And now price is just going to make a decision, like where does it want to go, right? But because you've closed respecting this range, the last time you've done something similar to that, right? You closed respecting this range, you came up, continued down, and now you've closed really respecting right at it, right? And when you're in a range, you just do this. So the fill of the range is very much expected, which is also fantastic because you've broken the previous weekly high. Any given point, if this weekly were to flip and we close bearish below the range, we have some pretty nice positions we could take to come down, right? So price could eventually, if this candle, right, closes something like this for this week with a top wick up to here. No, sorry, that is a really bad drawing. So it's gonna have to close like that because that's where it's opened, right? But if it closes like this, ideally with a bit of a bottom wick, something like that, right? If that's what happens, right, then cool. We can look for a slight, some small top wicks and then a drive to fill the next ranges, right? Next ranges being, at least down to around here, right? Around 2005, 2003 sorts of areas. And then, your next range is down probably, whereabouts is that? Probably like down towards around here, around 1966, 1970 sorts of areas. So we have ranges to play with. It's just, are we going to see the weekly flip, right? If the weekly closes bullish, but without a bottom wick, what can we expect as well? So if price does this, no bottom wick, right? Then what can we expect, right? This could be a fake out for us to continue back up, but I would expect you'd need a pretty steep bottom wick before the flip to continue up, right? And that could be somewhere, ideally tapping into somewhere around here, these sorts of areas, bottom of the range. So, cool. That's fine. overall, weekly has pushed up to the top of the range. I was probably bullish until this point, and now no longer really have a bias, right? And overall, I'm imagining that if price really wants to go anywhere, you probably will see this weekly to flip if it wants to go up. And if you want to see price go down, then price is going to flip on the weekly. And it kind of all makes sense. So I would say for tomorrow, right, depending on how price opens up and everything, you could be looking for some sells potentially because you've tapped the top of the range and you started to reject, right? So let's have a look at the daily now. Daily is interesting. I would say I'm going to move my support to right about there. 2017 is not bad. 2017, 2016, right about here is not bad of a range. I would say, let's have a look. 2050.4, 2050.0. Okay. I'm actually going to leave it about 2046 for 2047. I might move it down just a little bit. Yeah. So so I'm going to say that's probably the top of the range. You can separate the daily into some other ranges as well. So you have a level going across here at 2030, which is quite nice, right? Because you closed above. We mentioned this yesterday on the members only. We closed above. High chance this is going to see a drive up, right? So the position I was in last night, as we broke some 4-hour highs, I was expecting it to continue pushing up, but I didn't know where the bottom wick was. I wasn't expecting too much of a bottom wick, but you know, that's exactly what happened, right? It played out. You kind of just filled the top of the range, which is around here. And that's, you know, typically what price does. When you get a breakout, you fill the range. And in this case, we've filled the range and now we're starting to reject. Our closure, however, is still within the range, number one. And number two, on the 4-hour and whatever, you'll probably see it like, you know, maybe above or below certain ranges. But at the moment, just based off of the daily, I can't tell. I only know that it's at the top of the range. So your next move is probably some, you know, you probably tap into 2030 before doing anything because you've just rejected here. So if it wants to grab liquidity, likely it'll grab it below this range, which could be in the form of a steeper daily bottom wick. And then if you want to retest the highs, you can do so, right? But that's the kind of liquidity I'm expecting, mainly because if you are still in this range, you can bounce around in this range for as long as you want, right? If you just look at this here, you grab liquidity outside the range and also continue to close within the range and just bounced around, right? So if that's what's happening, I'd expect a similar thing in like typically when price is in a range, that's what you do, right? You just kind of bounce around here. So that's fine, right? Nothing we can really do about that besides wait for our confirmations. But overall for the daily, I am bullish, expecting a bottom wick. And where is that bottom wick going to be? Probably at least to probably break this low, ideally breaking below this. I think this was the 2 p.m. Or like the 4-hour candle, which includes the news candle as it was pushing down. But yeah, cool. Because at some point, right, if you look at this 4-hour and your daily bottom wick is here at 2029.13, your 4-hour when it opened at here, you actually had a low towards around, I would say 2029.8. You came down, you broke the lows and then closed bullish. So on the 4-hour, right, it's giving you a little bit more picture, like a little bit more detail in terms of what the daily actually did. And it looks like it's come down, filled the bottom of the range. Now it's looking to come back up. If you now get closures, I would say above this area here, there's a high chance that price, whatever it's going to do, it's going to tap into 2038 first. And then after that, if you get a breakout, maybe some liquidity, and then we can look to retest 2046 sorts of areas, I would say. Maybe, yeah, 2046, 2048. 2048 seems to be a very strong support, right? You have this here, all of these wicks here, and then you also have this wick here that we just rejected off of. So I am definitely looking for buyers to fill this range, but I'm expecting a steeper bottom wick if that were to happen. And ideally, Asian session may give you some sells to come down. And if that happens and you break some of these lows, fantastic, right? I'll be looking for buys above here, likely off the rip, depending on how price prints. So, yeah, I think you have a little bit of range left to fill, but you also close right at a support. Like this 4-hour, if I move it down to here, right, you'll see here that it closed right respecting some of these candles here, maybe even like, maybe you faked out. But yeah, your general area is around here. So I wouldn't be surprised if price just kind of starts coming down, breaks the lows, steep, no, not so steep top wick, and then you start re-breaking the lows to come down to fill this range again, right? Because we're understanding that again, if you just go back to the weekly, if it wants to continue up, needs liquidity. Weekly, if it wants to continue down, it'll go down, right? Oh, general. Yo. But yeah, so if that's what I'm expecting, I would say your first position will likely be after price either creates a top wick breaking some of these highs at around 2040, right? So above this area here and below here. These are key zones that price will likely need to tap into before making a decision, right? And if it taps into here and then starts breaking below here, maybe you can take those sells. If you are tapping into these areas and then re-breaking the highs, then high chance you can look to take some buys to go up, right? Because we are bullish. If you break the not so steep bottom wick for the previous daily, flip, re-break daily highs, pretty clean traffic towards around 2048. But if you come up, you're struggling, right? Because it's looking like you had this massive fake out to come back into this range. If you're just in this range now, right, and then you see price coming up to these areas, but you're understanding that if price wants to continue driving up, you're going to need liquidity, high chance you can take the fake out as you come back in terms of maybe a zucchini or something like that, right? And then if you are looking for sells below here, I would be slightly cautious because yes, I am expecting price to, come down to these areas, but these wouldn't be runner positions, right? Mainly because if price has come up to these areas, you're still understanding that your daily has closed above the range. Any given point, that bottom wick could be used as liquidity for you to continue driving up. So to take sells below this range, I'm going to need some steeper confirmations, right? Some sells below will probably need some pretty nice top wicks around these sort of top wicks, right? Closures below, top wicks around here, closures below, you grab some top wicks again. So once you get that, cool. I'll then look for the re-break of lows to continue filling this range. So that's the kind of level of confirmation I'm going to need for the sells. Buys wise, again, tapping into the previous daily lows sorts of areas and then re-break of the highs, you should be pretty clean to go up. But yeah, I would say overall your structure as well, just looking at this, it's looking like, on the higher time frames, right? If I just look at the daily, daily's a little bit too high of a time frame, but your 4 hour, right? It's looking like it's kind of trickling a little bit. It's doing something like this, right? Even though you did break some of those and you've come back up to do this now, it's a little bit trickly. And when it's a little bit trickly like that, I'm kind of worried something like this would happen, right? Where you have, price kind of trickling up as well, not like major liquidity grabs before whatever, right? Like in this case here specifically, you kind of just started pushing up, right? You didn't really grab liquidity outside of this range, and then you started reversing to come down, right? So anything can happen, I would say, and just be careful for price. If price decides to suddenly come down, because it just doesn't have enough liquidity, I don't know how far that's going to come down to before it comes back up, because on your daily, if you're so bullish, you're expecting potentially a range fill and then potentially even a breakout, right? So that would be something that looks like this. But where's that bottom wick, right? Ideally, that bottom wick comes down and breaks this previous low. And if it does, fantastic, right? These buys above, you'll have clean range till at least around 2062, 2063. And then once you break those highs, pretty clean traffic to 2070. But yeah. So FOMC, again, we have to mention news. Tomorrow we have probably one of the most major folders, I think, in terms of news, which is FOMC. We had Jolts today, which I don't think I've ever heard of. Jolts, job, something, right? Yeah, so you have FOMC. So I think Don is doing a double stream tomorrow. So you have ADP, non-farm employment change first. Then you have so many red folders tomorrow. Jesus. 1:15 as well. So remember, this is 1:15, yeah? This is not your typical 8:30 EST sort of news. It's 15 minutes. So this is before, I think the 120 push, which is market open or something. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, to be fair, I would say that FOMC statement is not the nicest to trade. Yeah, COMEX open. Yeah, 1:15 is 5 minutes before the COMEX open. So if you have news, then you also have COMEX. Wait, you'll likely get trades after 1:30 because this direction may not be the same as the unemployment cost index direction, right? and then between 1:30 and kind of 7 p.m. you can trade that. That's fine. And after 7, personally, I don't think I'll be trading it. I won't really be on the charts because FOMC statement is very dependent on what Jerome says, I would say. When Jerome just says one wrong word or whatever, which he doesn't usually do, because we give him a pretty good script, right? But if he says something wrong, then, my money printer is broken at that point. But yeah, so relating this back to price, if price in terms of, the first batch of news at like around 8:30 p.m. Eastern, if that comes out positive, right, for gold, so gold is pushing up, you could get a completely change of direction for FOMC statement, right? And if price does come down at that point, then cool. We're expecting, right, if you start re-breaking some of the daily lows after re-breaking the daily highs or filling the range again, then you have a high chance of filling the range down to around 2016. And if you start breaking and you create that kind of starting to create that weekly bottom wick, then yeah, maybe you can look for some drives. But I'm going to need some pretty hefty confirmations, basically just because the weekly has closed respecting my range, right? Your daily also kind of closed back into this, above this range, right? So any given point, price can reject because you've tapped top of the range, but your weekly, right? Your weekly is still bullish, right? Any given point, you could just be creating a little bit of a bottom wick and then re-push up. So I would say just be careful. News direction may not be the actual direction for price, especially if we have two different times of day where we have pretty hefty red folders. But yeah, cool. Let's see what the Zoom boys have to say.
Yo.
Yo.
What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Is the music too loud?
Hey, it's deafening.
Oh shit. Okay. Lo-fi 10 hours version. Lovely. You guys catch any trades today?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. It was a pretty good day. Pretty clean price action day. Right, like your 4 hour I think closed above the range, like this range here. Even though it didn't really have no really top wick. But I would say yeah, like I think because your 1 hour broke these lows, like this hourly came down, you had like a pretty nice drop here, but you then closed respecting here. Next candle closed bullish above, broke the lows. Then you would have, like, I actually got into a position here to take from 2036. I think the break of this high to go up towards 2038 at least. But I didn't hold because I was worried that, depending on how the 4 hour closed, you could get no top wick. And if that happens, it's difficult to get into trades. But as you just started pushing here and you just started breaking this, high chance, after this 15, I think, closed like this.
Closed above 2041.
Yeah.
Which is the top of the 15 range.
Yeah, so once you got this kind of closure, 2042, 2041 around here, right? Once you closed above here, you probably know that you have at least to fill like around here, I would say 2044. Yeah, so I mean that was a pretty nice position to be fair. And then sells down. Sells down were nice. I couldn't really take any sells down until you kind of re-broke the hourly low. So I mean this is what I took last time as well, right? You re-break this hourly low here as well. Took the re-break of this hourly low to come down. I took the same thing, come down. I didn't take it all the way to here. That was like 50 odd pips, right? But close to full somewhere. Yeah. I think Wix was taking the re-break of the news low.
Oh, I was about to say, what was it? Clean on the one.
Yeah. What was that, Jacob? Jacob?
I was saying, what was the difference between what you took and what Wix took?
So I think Wix took this low.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. So Wix took the
No.
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Oh no, Jacob.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Wix basically took the re-break of the news low, and then expecting that if it's going to push, and then looking at the one structure, which was, to be fair, very clean. I just wanted a little bit more confirmation. But this was nice as well, right? Came down, came back up, retraced, tapped the top of this 1 minute range, then re-break a little slow. You should have seen a clean push, which you did. That was nice. You struggled a little bit here for some reason, and then as you then re-broke those
I
lows.
think that was like around where the 4-hour flip was, and
Yeah.
it was like it was deciding whether it was going to do that or not.
It was just hovering here for a while, and then it actually flipped, and then yeah, we got into some position. Well, I got into some positions, but that was it. But yeah, pretty good price action day, I would say. Like, we've been expecting this push for a while. Not just like Don's position, right? But for us as well. Like, we've been thinking about, you know, price needs to create liquidity above these candles here. If not, you can't. Like, now if you want to drive down, you can. And it works really well because your weekly has no bottom wick, right? So this could be liquidity for us to just pop all the way back down. But the issue is now, like, if you really wanted to go down, why have you now closed bullish back into this range, right? So yeah, just you know, we'll see where price goes. What?
I'm also recently looking into, I don't know why, but UG. Really catch my eye.
UG, as in like
Yeah.
USD JPY.
US dollar and Japanese yen.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it kind of plays like the opposite of gold.
Yeah. Because this one is XAUUSD, right? So USD is a second, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get back into GJ. Thing is, like, gold is just pushing so nice, like, sometimes that you just don't need to think about another pair. So I don't know when.
I mean, it's not that I take trades on it, but
You just
I'm
look
just
at it.
having an eye on it.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah. But yeah. Also, if we just look at this again, just seeing this happen so often. Like, no top wick, then doji reverse. So often. Maybe even often enough for us to take trades, maybe. We will see. But I think it depends on context as well. Like here, I think it made sense because you had a really steep rejection, right? Your 4-hour close bearish. So regardless of what was happening, you're probably expecting a bit of a bottom wick for your next kind of overall push anyways. And that's the kind of 4-hour bottom wick, your hourly lows to come down, break these lows to continue up. This was a little bit, you probably couldn't have taken this. This was the same position as this, right? If you took this. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it works on. It's good when you sit at the top of one of those trickles.
Yeah.
Or the bottom of one of the trickles.
Yeah, like these trickles when you're like kind of pushing back up. Same thing happened as like yesterday though, right? After I pushed down, you kind of retraced all the way back up, right? And then this was, you know, towards the end of the day, you then went back up, but like then you range here for the kind of no volume session, right? And Asian kind of, and then for London you get a little bit of action, but this is typically the Asian, which is why it's a little bit more hard to trade, I would say. So now we're kind of going into Asian. I'm expecting price to kind of range just between here and here, like your next range, which is likely like here. So if that's the case, right, what is price going to do? You get a breakout in either direction. You'll get a retest anyways, if you do want to take that kind of retest to go up. Yeah.
These like 5-minute structures that are forming near a higher time frame resistance and support that are continuing to be really, really nice. Like even today as well. I just push, no liquidity, create that like 5 structure I spoke about.
Yeah.
As soon as it broke the low, just start rip it down.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, up the top.
Yeah.
If there wasn't news, I was gonna wait for it to close. Last time there was like a closure below the bottom of those wicks. on the 5.
Yeah, here, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then the
really.
candle after that closure like ripped down.
Yeah,
Like
so
5 candles, no top wick. So
yeah.
if there wasn't news, that was the thing I was looking at taking.
I think this
Yeah.
rebrick the lows was nice because you have a top wick that news produced, which broke some of the highs here. So that was like probably a liquidity for you to come down if you then rebroke the news low, which is what wicks took, right? And like similar to this position, like once you tried to push up but you have no liquidity, then you just come down, and it's like this was no news as well. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah,
You just
like fell.
yeah, gone. Equivalent to when you actually had news, which was interesting. Yeah, we've been like that's the thing, right? Like gold has been giving us some massive amounts of volume. So yeah, like we'll see when I or Don and the rest of DVS kind of start trading different pairs again. But for now, I think it's not bad.
Well, I mean, today gold wasn't boring.
Yeah, like this push here before news was really nice, right?
Yeah, one of the days last week, or yeah, I think it was last week. It's pointless. Looked at something else.
Yeah, like some days you like I think what was it like when we were really in this range, like balls deep in this range, like nothing was really happening like here for like quite a while. Like what was the time between these two pushes here? This was like 3 days, 4 days, and just nothing really happened here, I would say. Well, like here, this was a bit of a struggle here. Like you broke back in, you didn't really drive, and it's like within like what a whole day, you just this entire day nothing happened, right? Because you just what was this range? Yeah, a whole day, 90 pips. Even today we drove like twice that, slightly more than twice that. Ah, AB Mike, welcome back. I need a new playlist, man. What are there any like good lo-fi or just like non-copyrighted stuff I can use? Let's try that. B Radley, welcome. Did you catch the analysis or did you just arrive? Yeah, it was a pretty crazy day. We got volume, right? 4-hour new top wick, but you still drove because you got a closure above the range. Yeah, it was a good day. I think in total I caught like 3 positions. Yeah. Not bad. I would like this area to get tapped if possible. And if we really want to get sells, I'll probably need this level to get tapped. That's my overall, like the level is between like here and here for me. That's where I want that to get tapped, and for this the buys I would need this to here. That's what I'm looking for. This is pretty specific, to be fair, this area. If it taps into here, that's great, and we can look for some sells. And the buys, yeah, because if your structure is starting to mirror this, right, you're coming up, you tap into these areas. Last time you were able to redrive up afterwards was around here, tapped into here, and this is more than enough range for us to trade, right? That's 100 pips. And then you also grab liquidity again here after closing back into this range, right? Before you were able to drive down past here, you grab liquidity first here. So if you took the sells afterwards to come down, cool. down to these ranges, right? But this is why I'm saying you may not be able to take the sells to come down afterwards. What I need is a steep top wick, which could be around 2038. Does that kind of line up? And then after that, price can do whatever it wants. If it fills down to 2016, then we have a weekly bottom wick. It can reject, right? Any given point because we're bullish, similar to what happened here. Starts pushing back up. But, you know, if we are mirroring anything, I would say this would be quite a nice one here. And then even in this case, right, we grabbed liquidity around these areas, came back down towards these areas before you were able to make that push. You were still, you know, within, obviously in this case, you were above the range here, but you then closed back into here and you were struggling here for a while, but you grabbed liquidity here once, twice, and then also a third time here before you were able to push above, right? And you came up to these areas without having enough liquidity to continue pushing. So if you're still respecting this area, 2041, like this, right, then you can look for liquidity at these 2 points. But that's what I would say in terms of levels I'd like it to tap. Really can't get any more specific than this. And we'll probably just need to watch price as it prints ranges. And because, you know, at any given point, price can just start driving straight up for the next daily candle, right? Because bullish above the range, expecting a range fill, and any given point it can just fill, and the news could also pop us even further up, right? Your daily candle could also end up being like this, closing like this. This is a very valid daily candle as well, just because of how oh yeah, what is the, oh shit, that is a candle in the middle of news. Let's have a look. So first one, actual greater, this is less than, so it's bad for currency, so good for gold. Gold's gonna go up for that one. Greater than, this is slightly less, so this is bad for currency, good for gold. So that's pretty bullish for gold, right? These two folders. And obviously I don't know what FOMC statement is going to be because that's just Jerome, but if it's based off of this, it's currently mixed because you have no direction because it's the same. So if that's bullish for gold, again, going back to that candle, it could happen. And if you get a rebreak of this high, I'd probably wait just a little bit. If the daily has a bit of a bottom wick, then the rebreak of this high, I would say, is probably fine. But where I'd need the bottom wick to be is probably relatively specific, right? Probably not down to these areas, but once you get a 4-hour closure above during the kind of different, during potentially like London, right? Or maybe even Asian when it creates that. Once you get a breakout, a solid breakout above, and you have like a bottom wick like this, right? News, how it would need it to kind of come out ideally is if it did this, right? Came down, created that bottom wick for the news candle. It doesn't have to be a lot, right? As it flips, I'll take the rebreak of this high to continue up. But that's if news comes down to create that bottom wick. If it doesn't, right, and it just starts pushing up, then we can maybe follow the trend going up, where like, you know, say we get this closure, news just pushes like this, right? Then we'll wait for like a 15 closure, looks like this, potential small bottom wick, similar to the trade we had today with Don, right? And then as you flip, you should get a pretty nice drive to continue. At least this wick fill will, during news, will probably give you 10 pips already. You can decide if you want to go break even, but this is a pretty nice area which we're looking to retest, right? Because your daily is expecting this, right? A range fill, and you're also, this is the top of your range. So if you get some closures above, should be pretty good. That's a great question, Dope Rec. Why don't you guys backtest NASDAQ? That's a great question. I feel like I should be backtesting NASDAQ now. I feel like my life purpose has suddenly just changed. I might just quit my job and just backtest NASDAQ.
Just think of how many more pairs you could trade, right?
Just think about that, yeah. Just that by itself, that is honestly enough incentive for me to just do that for the rest of my life.
Maybe take a look at futures as well while you're at it.
Yeah. Let's. I was actually previously looking at like, what is it, like the Chinese yuan? What even is that pair?
Just try Bitcoin.
On weekends? Yuan Brazilian? Oh, futures as well? Brother, what a chart. I can't wait to trade this.
What's wrong with this chart?
No, this is a great chart. What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with this chart. Oh, what? The 5 minute has no data. Oh yeah, but like you can clearly see here, guys, we have a level at about like here, right? Clearly. So if you get a retest of this level, you could get some pretty nice pushes to continue up. So what I'm expecting is probably like, look at this, right? This structure. Just need to re-break the lows and then straight up. Probably see 10,000, 600 get tapped by the end of this week. Yeah, man. Yemen.
Yo.
So,
Bro, I was muted, but for the journal,
yeah.
for the partial close position, say I have one position, right, and then do you fill out the partial close till you fill out your whole position? If that makes sense. So say you have a 0
So
point.
what you do is, like, for example, I opened like a, say like a one lot, right? I closed half, 0.5. If I then close another half, then I just put it in as like the very end, right? Because like I just put it in as like total profit and then full closure.
So say you have a one lot, right, and then you close half.
Yeah.
That would be
I've
first partial close 0.5, and then you do the pips, and then you do your second partial, and then.
No, then you wouldn't have a second partial. If you closed half and then you closed full afterwards.
Okay, but then what if you close another 0.25?
Yeah, then that would be another partial. Yeah.
And then what about the third one? Would you journal that, or would you just consider it like you closed it?
Did you close the full 0.25 that was remaining?
Yeah.
Then that would just be it wouldn't be a third partial, that's your full closure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why it made sense to do it like that.
Yeah, no, but it's just, again, it just depends on how you want to do it. Like,
I mean, you could do it like that if you want.
Exactly.
Because then you can map out exactly where all it got to.
Yeah, and then in that case, I could always do like, okay, I know for sure how I'm going to manage risk. Like, it's going to be for sure either a half close and then another 25%, and then I'll always leave 25%, and then I'll always have just 3 closures like that.
Yeah,
Three partial closures.
That works.
But also, I was going to say, for today, I feel like it was a good day for just not...
For price action.
Like price action for sure, and not feeling the need to take more trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, while people were waiting for taking those trades, I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, it looks good, but then it's like, I'm right here talking, like, I'm already on Zoom, I don't feel like locking in and, like, actually getting serious about trading right now, because I already called my trade, so it's just like, do I call it, or do I, like, fucking, like, jump in, like, mid-focus, you know, like, not even fully locked in. Yeah, so I was just like, nah, and I just caught it. And
exactly.
I cleared my chart and then just saved and close trading.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a pretty good day.
I think I should have just taken them. I was looking at them and I was like, I kind of need to go out.
Yeah, that's when it gets a little bit.
I don't want to like take it and end up in drawdown.
Yeah, and then not be able to manage. That's the issue.
Yeah, but I was like, I feel like this is gonna drive, you know. And then watched it. All 3 of the things I looked at for, you know, like an entry, all drove to TP. It's just like, fuck.
But then that's when you realize, oh, shoot, this is also like, we realized like you'll see the move again, like, and then I was watching like my old clip from when I had first came on stream with Don, and like later the day I was watching it, and one thing Reza had told me that day, he was like, bro, like, he was just basically saying how him and Don have been trading like the same time, and how him and Don like will take the same trades, and then he'll take another trade, but then he always wonders like why Don is up, and it's just like he said, like, Don just takes the best trade possible, and he's fine with missing trades.
Yeah. It's because
I think this 4-hour flip though was another really good trade.
This 4-hour flip?
Yeah.
This was a good.
We're like, just to be okay with missing trades.
Yeah, I think in general.
See it again. It's not like this is gonna be the last day you're ever gonna see
Yeah, man.
that play out, right? So it's
Exactly.
like, why do I need to? Why do I need to take? Why do I need to force myself? Like literally, that's what I'm doing. If I see it and I don't feel like trading, I'm forcing myself to take it. Like I'm not,
Exactly.
and I don't
Yeah.
think that's good, right?
Yeah. Because then it's out of your plan, right? It's not your plan to trade, and just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that question I got, Boo? I know you're more of a scalp trader, but I'm interested in knowing what you would be looking for a swing. Interesting. Swing's probably a little bit more difficult, I would say, for how price currently looks. Mainly because you're bullish to go up, right? So we're looking for buys, swings. But the issue is, right? I would probably need this to form first. Like this bearish closure after this, right? Let's say it closes like this. Fine, right? I would probably then need like a bottom, sorry, like a bullish closure, something like this. Not too steep of a bottom wick, just tapping into around these areas, right? And then if price, next thing it does is just comes down first, right? Breaks some of these lows. Could be looking for some swing positions, swing buys, because I'm expecting the monthly to continue go back up, right? Because that's the range you're in. We could be looking for swings at this point. But until you get that bullish closure to really confirm, at any given point, price can just drive straight down, right? Any given point given this, price could just do this, right? To come back down, right? So that's probably what I would wait for in terms of price. But yeah. What else? Can you trade the DAX? Unfortunately, no. Can I look at other currency pairs? Occasionally, we look at GJ. I think we've looked at GJ like twice since I started streaming, which is not a lot. But we maybe. Little GJ, little bro. Why are you guys hating on Jacob? What the fuck? Bruh. Man's got some good input. Man's come a long way. We should learn from Jacob. Legit, man has come a long way.
Hey, Jacob, how much was that thing you got, Don?
That
How much was
aura
what?
ring.
Yeah, how much is that?
A couple $100.
Like $300 to like $600. Just depends what you get. He's probably not even gonna wear it, bro.
Nah, he will.
No,
He will.
no.
He will. The thing is, like,
No,
the only
no.
reason he wouldn't wear it is because he doesn't sleep.
Bro, that's what I mean. Like, it's irrelevant to him, bro. Like, he's gonna see like 1 hour of sleep on there. He's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like
Let me have one stream.
he's just
Why-
gonna be like awake,
Why
and like,
doesn't he sleep, though?
yeah, he works that way. Like he doesn't need a lot of sleep. I think that's the main thing. So he
I think it
functions.
just goes back to his genetics or like his body. That's how his body like functions. Like, I feel like everybody's different, right?
Yeah, he's just conditioned. He's built diff. It's a DNA diff. Nothing we can
It's
do
one of
about
those
it.
people that needs like 4 hours a night.
Yeah. Man is literally built diff. I mean, we can look at GJ. Let's look at GJ. Is this GJ? This is GJ. Oh no, this is GBP USD. Where's GJ? Is this GJ? This is GJ.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Oh, what was our previous analysis? Looking at this bottom wicks. Oh, we got bottom wicks here. Is this what we were looking for to drive up? Maybe. When did we last do? Wow, was that October? No way.
I feel like
Probably
we did one
not.
more recently than October.
Like around December. I'm pretty sure we did one around December. So we were probably looking at this, right, for December here, for this mirror. That's fine. Okay, let's look. Monthly. Whoa, we have a fake out. Okay. I mean, you should pretty easily tap into around 194, I would imagine, to be fair. Like, once you get a monthly closure, it's just you need this monthly to close above here. Which at the moment, it's struggling a bit. But ideally, you get that closure above, and then you should be pretty clean to continue up. Like, maybe even just above.
194 is so high.
Yeah, 194 is really high. When was the last time we were there? 2015? Yeah. The yen, man. Jesus.
It's been slapped.
Yeah. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly, oh, you have one of these structures. You see this?
Yeah.
Oof, oof. Okay, it means that, there's a slight chance that price is not going to close at that area. Um, that's completely fine. Price can close however it likes, but it just means that if you get a weekly closure that looks like this, and you already have kind of top wicks for this, you could see a drive back down to here, which is towards around 185, right? So if that is the case, you also have a weekly here with no bottom wick. You could be coming back down to create that bottom wick, and that could be in the form of this, right? And then what was that?
It also didn't like break the lows before driving,
Yeah, I didn't break some of these lows,
which, yeah,
but I would expect something like this. If it wants to continue driving up, that's what you're going to need. And what is this going to be in terms of the time frames? It's going to be potentially a monthly, not closing directly above, right? But still bullish no matter what. And then you've come down for a steeper bottom wick. And as that happens, you re-break the monthly highs. Pretty clean traffic towards around that 195 area. But yeah, I would say that's probably, yeah. I mean, you have a daily closure doji after a pretty bearish rejection. Well, you closed doji and you came down all the way to here, which was your next range, right? You could really easily see a range fill, but I'd expect it to tap into maybe around just like a little bit higher first. Probably break the highs and then maybe you'll see a range fill down. Because it needs liquidity, right? We saw this structure literally on gold at the very top of where we were taking some buys yesterday. All right, so if that is the case, what we will see is potentially some of these rejections to come down. You have clean traffic to the left, right? If you just start dropping, I would imagine you'll probably at least tap into like these areas here, right? 185 and potentially even down towards here. 1845. But yeah. Overall, you finally stopped though, right? Look at all of look at all these pushes, right? You had these pushes here, liquidity up, push to consolidate, liquidity up here when you rebroke this high officially, right? Yeah, I mean, you're just looking for liquidity to be grabbed, right? This is your range. Like this could be the liquidity. If you are to pop up, it's fine. Say you're in an interesting range though, because you've been in this range for how many days? These are day candles, Jesus. You've been in this range for 13 days, 12 days. That's quite a while. But yeah. Do we have any day date? This is 2015 though, right? Yeah. 2015, it's not bad. I might put it, I'll just leave it around here. 1875 is pretty strong, I would say. So now that you have a closure below and like a doji respecting, you expect it to probably continue down, but you have filled the range. So yeah, for today, for GJ, I would say you don't really have a bias because you've come down, you filled the range, now then you close like this, right? The only way I can get into sells, I would say I prefer sells slightly more. What I would need to see for the sells is probably price to come up, break some of these highs, probably towards around these areas, right? And then as you then flip bearish, right, we can look to take those sells to continue down. But kind of similar to this structure to the left, right? Where you're seeing these top wicks here, and then the drive to come down. And after that, you can see this continuation. But I'm going to need it to retest around these areas, which is not that steep of a top wick, right? But yeah. And then as you re-break this low, maybe a little bit more liquidity and you should be fine to continue down. But yeah, Jesus, this is pretty high up. Let's look at other pairs. Monthly for USD, JPY. You still have no bottom wick for the...
It's interesting that this one isn't at 150 when GBP is up at like 188.
I mean, that's just the difference between GBP and USD then, right?
Yeah.
But I would expect this to have a monthly bottom wick for the next month because you still close respecting here. Likely, right? You have FOMC, which I think does affect because you have US dollar, right? So any given point, if it was good for gold, it's bad for US dollars, so you might see a drive down. And like, I don't know if it's going to flip the monthly candle, but again, you're looking at the same structure on the USD JPY, right? Like here in terms of the weekly even, your daily's been struggling to continue pushing up. You're seeing some resistance being formed. 4 hour, you found some resistance. Yeah, you could get some pretty interesting pushes to come in an opposite direction tomorrow. I have done the gold analysis. The gold analysis is pretty straightforward, to be honest. Like based on how the daily closed, which was bullish, but with a top wick to fill. Oh, you're coming down first. We opened, right? I'm expecting price to grab liquidity either at 2044, between 2044 and 2045, or at around 2027 to 2024. And both of these areas, I would say, generally, right? Once you tap into those areas, you're going to see volume, not necessarily direction, because you have two sets of news tomorrow, right? But because the daily has closed bullish, even if you do come down, I'm not looking for sells, right? Because at any given point, price being bullish can just continue to flip and retest the highs. But it'll really kind of depend on how the Asian session plays out. Obviously, on the 4 hour, you're in this range. So once you break out of the range, you'll see volume. But again, not necessarily direction. But yeah, that's basically it. Blueberry's goated, yeah, legit. I'm not gonna lie. Blueberry is so nice. Did you just change to blueberry, Nimi? Yeah, last trade from Don earned your respect. Yeah, I mean, he does that day in, day out. Literally. Because it's the same, like, loss, break even, or, win. It's all the same. But, it's one thing to say that, and it's another thing to actually show that. Like, to do it, I think, is step 2. And third step is, like, to be able to do it in front of thousands of people and, like, come back the next day not being worried at all. Take 10 pips. I can't believe January's over, man. That's nuts. Oh yeah, by the way, I am unfortunately away in Paris for some training next week, which will be from Sunday all the way to the Friday. So unfortunately, there will be no streams next week. But I'll try to be on the kind of members Discord in case anybody wants to kind of have a chat and just like ask about anything.
I don't think I can make tomorrow, Thursday.
That's fine, man. Then today's the last day. I'll see you. But yeah, I mean, like, essentially, I think you guys can just ask me to go into the Discord voice whenever and like ask me anything. So. But I'll during the day I'll be busy, but it should be okay. We'll be back the week after.
Can you really complain training in Paris?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not that bad, right? Thing is, I do have to travel to Gatwick Airport though.
At least it's not
Luton. Oh yeah. They actually
horrible
Luton,
ones. Even worse.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah, Gatwick is long. Taking an Uber versus actually just taking like the train and like.
It's I was gonna say you're not gonna take the train.
It's the same. It's the same time, so I might as well take the train. But the thing is, like, if you then get train delays, because I think we had some train strikes on Tuesday or today. So, if they strike on Sunday, Who
You
knows?
can check the days.
Yeah, I'll have to check, but gold is opening up bearish at the moment. Not pushed that much, right?
It's not really moved.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I meant, right? We probably get a range around this area for the time being. Just based off the 15, I would say your
A
range is
5-pip drive.
from here to around here. That's probably your range for Asian. Tradable if you're Wix 9. He somehow every single time finds the exact, like the perfect setups for Asian. So
See, he's just watched it long enough to.
yeah, he's just so accustomed to low volume.
But imagine you get like into drawdown at the start of your, like right off the start, you'd be sat around for like 2 hours waiting for it just to like crawl back up.
Yeah, that's the issue, man. Like taking a trade now is like realistically there are no trades anyways, but even if you did get into a trade, it's like the volume could just die and then you need to wait for Asian, which will take like another 2 hours. And then at that point you still don't have that much volume. So do you have any like Asian folders? 1230 you have
Do Asian
Australian.
folders affect?
I mean,
gold
maybe.
volume though?
I don't know. Some red folder, maybe AUD news, maybe. I don't know. Like unlikely, but yeah. I mean, you don't have any US folders, so probably not. Until 115. Tomorrow should be an interesting day, though. I can't wait. Again, to reiterate, please be careful trading tomorrow. Not because it's like, Wednesday or whatever, and like, you never trade Wednesdays, obviously, but like, because you have two sets of news, so direction may not be actual direction.
What do people say? You can't trade Mondays.
Because it's like market open and like it hasn't found direction yet. You can't trade Friday because it could be the pullback and you just don't know.
You can't trade news days.
Yeah, and it's like, well, then when can you trade? Like, are you trading? Are you a trader? Yeah, man. Everybody knows Wednesdays is just untradeable.
Oh, in December.
You never trade December. You never trade January as well. You also never trade February because there's only 28 days. And then you never trade March because you have to recover after January and February. So your first trading month is probably in what, April? $2024 no trading year? Yeah, man. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? If not, I'm probably gonna end around here. Pretty clean today, analysis-wise.
Yeah, I don't think so. I've not been taking any really weird trades.
Yeah,
So
I feel like you're just going with the plan. I think finding something that works consistently first and then like expanding is probably the way to do it. But yeah. Cool. Zooms. I will see you tomorrow. Johnny, have a good rest of the week. And if I don't hear from you next week, I'll see you the week after then.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, but cheers, guys. Cheers for joining up.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, Elvis.
Cheers,
Cheers,
See you guys. For everybody on the YouTube, yeah, cheers, Izzy. Yeah, thanks for coming up to the streams, everyone. It's been pretty good. I feel like overall today's analysis, I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10 in terms of like understanding where price potentially wants to go. It doesn't mean we can just take a buy or sell off the rip, right? We need to see that structure being formed, our plan. Currently, it's a no hunting situation until it taps, one of those areas or starts re-breaking some highs or lows. I can't do anything, right? And then after that happens, cool, I can start hunting, right? But but I'm still going to be careful because there's obviously news can drive price in any direction. I think we said that price, I think, would likely drive up just based off of the kind of folders and what news is printing. But any given point, price can drive down. News doesn't have to come out exactly as forecasted, right? So be careful. And then also, I think Don will be doing a double stream tomorrow. So if you can't make the first one, you can probably make the second one, right? And you should be good. Oh, I can't trade tomorrow. Fuck. I have to go to the office. Man, that's so sad. Anyways. Yeah, thanks for joining up, guys. I will see you all tomorrow evening for another one of these sessions. And yes, one last thing, which is I am not trading and not able to stream next week, the entire of next week, that is. So Thursday this week will be the last stream for 2 weeks. No, sorry, for the next week, and then I'll be back the week after. But yeah. Amazing, amazing. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys, and have a good rest of your day, good rest of your evening, day, wherever you are, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.
Yo, Feinberg, you have a bucket and shit?
Aye.
Yeah, 50 months. That's fine. Don't care. Because this is the problem with this Perlang. So you get into wartime situations. This might be desynced. I'm gonna hope not. That's not working. Dude, 284. Put me in this stronghold one of these days. Okay, I wanted to get the glowstone, but I threw a bad pearl. I don't love that spike, but I don't have anything else. Oh my god, like it's here. You are so good.